What's up, y'all? It's the next day. We are going to work on the holes that I drilled. Now, you can kind of see them. I'm gonna drop the body down, drill from the top, and I'm also gonna drill bigger holes here. I think these are 3/16 size, and I'm gonna go for 1/2 inch. I got 2 1/2 inch drill bits, just because this is really thick metal, so it might dull it up too much. Because I need to drill 2 here and then 1 in the center for the hose, and then same one on the other side, and then I gotta drill those 3 in here. I drilled the small holes yesterday, like that was the last thing I did. So but this is super thin metal, so I'm gonna do these first just in case it does dull up the drill bits, and then I'll do these last because this is super thin metal, so it's not the end of the world if it's dull. We can still figure it out. So yeah, that's the plan. So I'm gonna drill these first and then that, and it's gonna be a lot of drilling, so I'll either make a time lapse or just do some videos or whatever, put some music on it. So let's get to work. Okay, I ended up only doing 15, 30 seconds out of whatever that fraction is. I think it's that. It's like 1 less than 1/2 inch, because these I got just a hair under 1/2 inch, and it actually fits really well and really snug. So I'm gonna keep it as is because I want them to fit that snug. I just drilled through the body, which you'll see. I did the same measurement, and the biggest hose that I'm using for the airbag system fits the middle one really well and not snug, which I didn't want snug because it's rubber. I don't want it to cut into it. I want a little bit of give. So, but now what I'm gonna do is I gotta measure the 3 holes and figure out, I'm gonna cut this to like the same length as this thing, like this, because I'm gonna drill 3 holes in here and then weld this plate above those holes on the body and use that as like another support system. So this and this will sandwich the body. That way we have 2 pieces of 3/16 steel on both sides. And then I'll re-weld this, and I'll do it as much as I can because the body has waves in it, and same with this side, but then I have these 2 thick bolts going through it as well on each one. So I think we'll be sturdy enough, but this is the next thing that I just need to measure and measure the holes and make a mark, drill, cut. So let's knock it out. All right, got this piece drilled. I made sure the 4 holes I need fit my big bolts, and they're on kind of one side of it, and they're not, I mean, they're not perfectly centered. I didn't really measure anything. I did it based off of fitment from the underneath. And as far as not centering it on this is because there's a little lip in the back where I'm gonna push it into, and then I'm gonna weld on the top side, the sides, and then I'll be able to weld on this side too, from what I can tell. So that's why it looks like that instead of being like perfectly in the center. I also am not gonna cut them here and here. I'm gonna keep this brace on top. So I'm gonna keep this, because this thing fits almost perfectly where I need it. widthwise, so I'm gonna keep it like this. And right now my biggest challenge, being one person, is going to be putting these through the bottom, which I wanted to thread these up. However, it might just make more sense to thread them down through here and then through the body and then put them up through that, but not being able to hold the top because there's no way to reach around. So I might have to do like a vice grip or a, you know, not channel locks, but like a vice grip of some kind to hold onto it and pin it against something so I can screw it in a little bit. And then, or I can call my buddy and he'll come down. So yeah, that's the next step. Okay, Leland and I, he's behind the camera. We got the airbags fitted and mounted. So he'll show you the top. We took a steel plate, drilled some holes, and he was up here while we were, while I was underneath screwing the nuts onto the bolts. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weld along this line. I'll have to take a wire brush to it, which like I'll put on my angle grinder. That way I can get across all this paint, and then I'll clean it and all that stuff. And then I'm gonna cut this piece as well. That way I can weld the bottom side. That way it'll be super sturdy. Honestly, I think I could leave it and I'm not worried about it, but just to be safe and careful. And then we test fitted the bottom. The right side isn't perfect, but it has just a little bit of flex, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. And then, did I say left side? I'm at the right side. Left side's almost perfect, so I know we're good on that. So before we, bolt the body down and all that stuff, we're gonna work on the engine and get the turbo kit set up and the wiring for the starter and all that stuff. Like some of these bolts on the transmission are loose, so if they don't break on me, we'll just tighten them up and hope for the best. If they do break, then we'll deal with that accordingly. And then I have the J-tubes in that box, and they're gonna go to that exhaust. And then we gotta figure out how to do the turbo kit, which Leland will be helping on because he probably knows a little bit more about that than I do.
Maybe.
And we'll see. It's going to be an episode of Dumb and Dumber for sure. And then, yeah, once we can get the engine in and on, then we'll probably bolt the body down and then start doing electrical past the starter and all that stuff to make sure it runs. And then running a new fuel lines. I need to order the fuel lines. I don't have any. And then I'll probably order a new gas tank so I can do that. And then once I know the engine ran when it stopped, so it still should run if we can hook it up correctly. Once we can get it running, then I'll start working on the electrical and building the dash and the air system and all that stuff. And then after that, it'll be a lot of cosmetic things. Biggest challenge right now after that stuff is gonna be the steering column, because I think when it was lowered, it hit the bottom of the dash. So I might just have to cut that out or build like a sliding bearing or something like that, like an oblong shape, and then have something in here that can slide like this, and slide up and down depending on if it's bagged up or down, because it was hitting it when it was on the trailer. So I don't know, we're gonna see, but that's the last update for the day.